My next guest is coming off a big win over Andre Muniz at UFC Fight Night, July 22nd. It is Paul Craig back here on the program, live from Mexico right now. Paul, how are you?
I'm good, man. I'm on holiday at the moment, so the connection's not the best. I'm in Mexico. As soon as I finished my fight in London, I flew across the world with the family. It's one of the things that I'm going to make this sound like it's a chore, but I have to take the kids on holiday because they have to go through such a, not a bad experience with fight camp, but you know, all the niceties. I can't really take them out, do any fun stuff with them because my mind's on something else. So by able to take them away on holidays, like my way to like thanking the kids. So that's why the signal's not the greatest. But I appreciate your time, and I'm sorry for the guys back home that are watching this and thinking Paul Craig just one bonus and he can't afford internet.
Hey, listen, I got to thank you for doing this on vacation. You could be out enjoying the beach right now and you're talking to me. I got to know though, Paul, did you bring the golf clubs with you? Because I know there's a few nice courses in Mexico.
They are. I've passed a few as I've been driving back and forward for Cancun into my hotel. But one of the stipulations in going on holiday with family is no golf clubs.
I get it. Trust me, my wife would say the same thing. You got to spend more time with the kids. I get it. So don't worry about it. It's all good.
My issue with holiday is it throws me off my routine. I love my routine. I love getting up in the morning. I'll have a coffee and then I'll go straight to the gym. I'm not able to do that, so it's it throws me off a little bit. I'm a sucker for routine. It's that ADHD kicking in, and it's but I can't wait to get home, get back to a normal routine, and get back to training.
Yeah, and what a win that was. It was your first knockout win since 2014. You know, you're known as a submission guy, but that's got to feel good to show off another part of the arsenal.
You know, that was like a coming of age event for me with regards to striking. Always wanted to showcase my striking. I've always told people like I've actually got striking, just never been able to do it. And it's probably less like I've not been able to do it than not had the confidence. But moving gym from moving to higher level has made a massive difference to my game. My striking's more crisp and I've got a little bit more confidence in it. And the guys at that gym, from guys like Mark Ewan, who have just signed to Bellator, to Sean Clancy, who's probably going to go all the way to the UFC in the next couple of years, to the coach, James Doolan, all the kind of guys are what's helped me get there. I look at this sport very much like a team sport, and it's only the last part of this which becomes an individual sport. Without all the guys running about me, this isn't possible. So I really appreciate everything that they guys have done for me in the last 6 months.
Now, Paul, I don't want you to take this the wrong way. We're both married here. I don't want you to take this the wrong way. But, man, you looked ripped in there. You looked in great shape. You know, it seemed like the cut to middleweight went really well. How did you feel in there, man? Because you looked phenomenal in that fight.
Yeah, it was the line. My training partner, Chris Bungard's papa, before he passed away, one of the lines he used to say was going for Skeletor to He-Man. So if you check me for step on the scales on the Friday morning till the Saturday afternoon when we're getting ready for the fight, it's night and day what water and rehydration process can do for you. But I felt really good. The cut itself wasn't as bad as I expected. I had done a pre-cut prior to that fight camp, and it went really good. So that's how we knew we could have made that 185 cut off. So from that, we stepped on the scales, 185, and then we bulked all the way back up we were actually heavier getting into fight Munoz than we were fighting Johnny Walker. So the process that we ran through with that cut was night and day in comparison to what I've done in the past. So the cut made a huge difference to my cardiovascular output, and it made a huge difference to my actual game plan that we were imposing on that fight. So I believe, and I've said this before, that middleweight's my actual weight class, and I've just kind of been playing it being a light heavyweight, and it's not a bad rap if you think about it. To be a light heavyweight or to be a middleweight and hanging with some of the best light heavyweights in the world, you know, victories over Shogun Rua, victories over Ankalaev, and victories over Jamal Hill, some of the best guys in the world at 205.
Anything about Andre surprised you in the fight that maybe you weren't expecting?
You know, we had the way James Doolan works is he will just drip feed you bits of information, and it was just, so it's a long period of time that we had about this fight camp, so it was maybe about in between 15 to 16 weeks, and James just drips feed you, so he does this, so by the time the fight comes, you're already prepped and you know exactly what he's going to do. We didn't expect him to shoot because we thought that if he's going to take us down, then he's going to go straight into my game of guard. And if I'm on my back, then it's a dangerous position for him to be in. So we didn't expect that, but we knew he would stand. We knew he bursts forward with shots. He's got heavy kicks, but we were well prepared for him. He's very good at southpaw fighting, and he's very good at jiu-jitsu. So we were worried about his jiu-jitsu because as a Scottish guy who's learned jiu-jitsu over 10 years, in theory, I shouldn't be that good in comparison to a Brazilian who stays in Brazil, who has a Brazilian black belt. He should be much better than me. That's how we were looking at this. But then when we went to the ground, I felt really comfortable there. So we were able to impose what we wanted to do. Off my back, I felt like he had some sneaky moves with regards to his feet. He has this little leg weave he had on me, which was really sweet for a jiu-jitsu guy. Watching this back, absolutely brilliant. So at that point, that's where I realised, right, we're going to put a pace on him, and then we're going to take him into the world of no gentleman's jiu-jitsu, where it's two guys grappling. This is MMA jiu-jitsu, where we're going to be dropping elbows, we're going to be taking rabbit punches, we're going to be looking at all these wee kind of moves that open up a jiu-jitsu practitioner and allows you to get into these positions to finish a fight.
You got some extra bonus money too, which is always nice. Sure, that's helping buy a little bit extra food there in Mexico on the trip. But what are you going to be doing with the money?
No, I don't do a lot of stuff with my money. One of the things that I'm going to do is the guys who helped me in my fight camp, friends as well who have neglected time with, I'm going to take them to Ibiza, and we're going to have an expenses paid trip on Dana White. So that's what I'm going to do with my money.
Nice.
Going to take out a few of my mates, going to take out my training partners, and just going to reward them for all the help that they can do. As I said, like, I don't fight for money, I fight for experiences. So I'll spend all that money on my friends and my family, and I'll hopefully give them some memories.
Since your fight has ended, the UFC's announced a bunch of fights. One of the big ones in your new weight class is Paulo Costa and Khamzat Chimaev. Just your thoughts on that fight, and who do you see winning that one? Because that's an interesting fight for Chimaev's move back up to 185.
Yeah, I always rate Chimaev. I think he's one of the he's that scary Russian grappling mode, you know, that the guys have got. So I reckon he should be able to impose his will on Costa. But Costa's this big, powerful 185er. So it's going to be interesting to see. That's why the UFC have made this. But if I was a betting man, then I would go for Chimaev to finish him probably under 3 rounds. I don't see that going the distance. I feel that Chimaev will just out-grapple him and wear him down. And as I said, it'll be that dirty jiu-jitsu that will help him seal that victory. But as I said, Costa, especially on that secret juice, you know, who knows how we can go against them.
When do you want to fight next? You're on vacation. I know you're still, you know, you're itching to get back and get back to routine. I'm the same way, by the way. There's a part in a vacation where I'm like, okay, I need to get home and get back to business. I'm the same way. So we have that in common. But when do you want to have that next fight? Are you looking at a card? Is there, if you could choose when you want to fight next, when would you want to fight?
Yeah, I think it's probably going to be the end of the year. I'd like one more before. I like to have as many fights as I possibly can. I'm coming to the stages of being the late ages of 35, moving into 36. I feel like I'm just kind of peaking at the moment with regards to all the vital stats, you know, like heart rate, muscle contraction, speed, all the kind of numbers are flying high at the moment. So get me done by the end of the year. I know there's the Brazil card coming up. I'd love to be involved in that. I do need the 12 weeks with regards to the whole cut. I need to come in at a proper weight. So I need to have a few weeks getting back into training, getting back into like my fight weight, and then start the cut from there, because it does take a bit of process, and it's working with the guys at Boxing Science. Lee Rickards is like, he's like, see when we're doing the weight cut in London, and he's hitting out these numbers. So he's sitting there calculating, sitting on his MacBook, and he's typing away, and he's like, right, we should be this weight by this point. Step on the scale, and he hits the numbers. It was incredible to see. He's such a geek when it comes to numbers, but we do need the 12 weeks to make sure we're going to hit the numbers. But something, you know, like Allen fighting, like I think he's number 11 at the moment. That's an interesting fight for me. I'm looking for somebody in that top 10. same again, it comes to the UFC and they kind of pick you who they want you to fight, but I'm always going to be ready. Like if there's a pull out as well, you know, round about the 10 weeks, say it is the card at the end of the year, I'll be ready. Once I come back for holiday, I'll be straight back to fight camp, working on improving my skill, because I think that's what sets me apart from everybody else. The minute I stop improving skill-wise, then it's time for me to walk away from the sport. And I just feel I'm coming into the next level with regards to striking. Hopefully by the end of the year, I'll have a fight. Hopefully by a month or so, I'll have something booked, and then I've got something to work for. But you know when it's going to happen, because if you see any pictures of me and I've got a red bracelet on, then it's game day.
Yeah. What about Jack Hermansson? That's another fight people suggested, just with the styles, because Jack's got a really good ground game. He's one of the only guys to submit Kelvin Gastelum.
Yeah, I know that is a very interesting fight. And the same again, he's had some wars in the UFC. You know, he's done a bit of the work. So it's a very favourable fight for me with regards to youth and experience for me. But there's like Brunson's still there. Did Gastelum move down as well? Did he just move down?
Yeah,
so
he did.
Yeah.
There is
a few fights there that are interesting, but I would bite the hand off him for that Jack Hermansson one. But I think that could possibly be like, you know, maybe a Scotland card. Scotland, Paul Craig, Jack Hermansson. That's interesting.
Internationally, that would be huge. That would be a great fight.
Yeah. The UK, they've oversaturated the market in London. They've had back-to-back shows in London, and I believe it's time for them to come elsewhere. You know, there is a lot more venues in the UK in the O2. We've got Glasgow Hydro, we've got places in Liverpool, Manchester. So there's loads of opportunities for them to decide where they're going to go. But for me, I would love to be headlining, have my face on the poster for UFC Glasgow, and Hermansson would be an amazing fight.
I'll throw one other name out at you just because I have heard some people mention it. And I know you're a ranked middleweight now, but Bo Nickal, that's a fight I think people would be interested in because there's a lot of hype behind Bo. You know, almost fighting him would be like fighting a ranked opponent just because of all the hype he has.
I know it's one of these things. He's obviously came with this high-level wrestling background, and everybody's tipping him to do amazing things in the sport. I believe any division that I go into, I'm a bit of a boogeyman. When people take me down, which Bo Nickal will potentially do, it sets me in a good place to be, lying in my back, taking these shots and looking for submissions. So I think that plays into my game plan. I think over the next few months as well, with my striking improving as well, I think I'm going to become a devastating addition to the middleweight division. But Bo Nickal is a very interesting fight, and I know he's not got a match. But once Mick Maynard messages us, then it's game day for us. We'll bite the hand off him, because that's one of the things with the UFC. They message you and tell you who you're fighting.
Yeah.
I don't even tell them who I'm fighting. I love to see who the UFC want you to go against. And it's helped me in the past with regards to having big names like Jamal Hill, because we're trying to build Jamal Hill off the back of beating me, and then I get the submission. They tried to do the same with Ankalaev, and I beat him. Tried to do the same with Volkan Ozdemir. Right, it didn't go my way, but you know, there's these fighters who they're trying to use my name to beat, but I'm in the fight, and whoever the UFC asks me to fight, then I'm going to fight them.
At the top of your division, Israel Adesanya is the champion. We don't know who he's going to fight next. It looked like it was going to be Dricus du Plessis. We're hearing now that 293 is not going to be ready to go. There might be a possibility of Sean Strickland fighting him. What do you think of that? Because obviously Jared Cannonier has a win over Sean Strickland, but you know, Strickland just got a finish, and there's obviously a lot of, you know, people are interested in Strickland regardless. What do you think of that possibility?
Yeah, for myself, I like to fight myself in Strickland. I like his style. I like the way he fights. I like when he stands in front and he likes to throw heavy blether. I love that. I'd love to fight against him. But yeah, he's probably next in line for that title shot, isn't he? As you said, he's coming off a submission victory. So he's probably going to jump the line. And I think it's more of a fan favourite fight in it. Regardless of what happens, you're either going to see... No, it's only going to go one way. Israel Adesanya is one of the greatest middleweights they've ever been. You know, his striking ability, the way he moves. Right, he's had a loss off a what's that guy called? He's moved up to light heavyweight.
Pereira, yeah, Alex Pereira.
You know, so he's had that loss, but I still believe he's got he obviously rectified that. He's still one of the greatest. The way he moves, I think it's not going to be a great fight for Sean Strickland. He's going to be there to be hit. Adesanya moves too well. believe Duplessis is probably got a better opportunity to beating Adesanya than Strickland. And it's just because Duplessis has got a unorthodox striking style. How do you train for someone who moves like that, who bursts forwards, flinging shots? He probably doesn't know what he's flinging himself, and I think it makes it a more interesting fight, and it's probably a harder fight for Izzy to take than Sean Strickland, than an opponent who stands his ground and will get hit, whereas Duplessis will hit, but he'll land some heavy unorthodox strikes. So it's going to be Izzy against Strickland, then I'll go Izzy all day. But if Izzy against Duplessis, then I'm probably going to lean towards Duplessis.
Love it. Like the honesty there. Hey, Paul, I'm not going to keep you any longer from your vacation, man. You go enjoy some tequila. I'm sure we'll talk later and hopefully get some golf in when you get back. If there's anyone you want to thank before we get out of here, any sponsors, any social media you want to mention, I'll give you the last word.
Yeah, it's guys like Jamie for 7 Layers. He's backed me in my middleweight. That was one of the things. He had faith in me when it came to being a middleweight. And you got to respect a guy who's going to back you. So his brand's 7 Layers. They've got some really, really cool kits, so guys should check them out. And then that's pretty much it. I've mentioned everybody else, for the guys in the gym at higher level to the guys at Boxing Science and Nutrition. All these guys make it possible for me to be an MMA athlete, and without them, it's not going to happen.